Today for math, we're going to do some work with time, because sometimes it's important to know how much time has passed or how much time is left before we're going to do something. So we're going to talk about arithmetic with time. All right, so let me give you a little problem. If it takes Raven 20 minutes to rake the leaves and 10 minutes to wash the car, and then 30 minutes to water the garden, how long does it take Raven to do all of these chores? Well, let's see how we can think about that. Let's say that Raven starts her working at 11 o'clock in the morning, okay? So it took her 20 minutes to rake the leaves. So where would the clock be if it took her 20 minutes and she started at 11? Go all the way over here. There's the 20. So there's 20 minutes. Then it took her 10 minutes to wash the car. So that's another 5, 10. 5, 10. And then it took her 30 minutes to water the garden. All the way up to here. How long did it take her to do all of these chores? Did you say 1 hour? That's right. Let's see if we can do this without the clock. We can think of it this way. It took Raven 20 minutes to rake the leaves, and then it took her 10 minutes to wash the car, and then 30 minutes to water the garden. Boy, that's a lot of big numbers to add up, but I know that it's pretty easy to add 10 and 20 together. That would be 30. 30 plus 30, we can add these 3 tens. 3 tens plus 3 tens is 6 tens. 60 minutes makes an hour. It took her 1 hour, or you could say it took her 60 minutes. Let's look at another problem. Lycan and Alig spend 15 minutes in the car going to violin lessons every Monday and 15 minutes coming home. They had 4 violin lessons in October. How many minutes did they spend in the car that month driving to and from violin lessons? Ooh, that's a pretty big problem, isn't it? All right, so let's see. Every Monday they spend 15 minutes getting to violin lesson and 15 minutes coming home. So how many was that? 30 minutes. Well, now we get to the point where this clock isn't going to help me because we almost need like a calendar. Let's see. I've got my calendar here. And we're talking about October. Let's just go to October. We probably don't need this, but let's see. We might. Let's write this problem down. Sometimes it really helps to write down what you're working on. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit here so you guys can see better. Okay. All right, so they spend 15 minutes going to violin lesson plus 15 minutes coming home. And we saw on the clock that that was the same as 30 minutes. We can also think of it this way. We have, here's 110 plus 110. 1 plus 1 is 2 tens. That's it. Because it's tens, we write 20. Plus 5 ones and 5 ones. That's 10 ones. 20 plus 10 is 30. But this happened in October where there were 4 Mondays. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we have 4 we had 30 minutes 4 times. How are we going to figure that out? Well, we can do this. We can think of this as 3 tens, right? So if we have 3 tens 4 times, we can think of it just multiplying these two. 3 times 4 is 12, but we have tens because this was 3 tens. So if we have 3 tens 4 times, that's 12 tens, which means we have to say that it's tens by adding a 0 at the end, which ends up being 120. 120 minutes. Now, we don't often talk about that many minutes, do we? That's a long time. Let's look at the clock again. So if we had, let's go back here and start at the 12. 12 is an easy place to start at because then we can see how many hours have gone by, right? So we had 15 minutes plus 15 minutes 1 time, 15 minutes plus 15 minutes 2 times. So that was a half an hour for one day, a half an hour for another day. That was 2 days. And so that means that was 2 different weeks because they only go on Mondays. Now, we did 4 times though, so we have to do that again. 15 minutes there, 15 minutes back. That's the 3rd week. And the 4th week, 15 minutes there and 15 minutes back. 4th week. All right, so that was 30 minutes plus 30 minutes. And that, we remember, that's 60 minutes. And then we had another 30 minutes plus 30 minutes. That's another 60 minutes. So how many hours did that take? It was 2 hours, wasn't it? Let's think about that a second. Oh boy, so we've got this big number, 120 minutes. But we want to see how many minutes there are, how many hours there are in 120 minutes. So if there are 120 minutes altogether, in order to see how many hours, we actually have to divide by 60 minutes. Boy, that's a tricky division problem, isn't it? 120 divided by 60? How on earth can we do that? Well, we can look at it kind of the same as we did up here. We had 3 tens 4 times. So here we have 12 tens, right? If we look at it this way, we could say that we have 0 ones, 2 tens, and 100, or we could call this 12 tens divided by 60. Now, whenever you see a problem like this with division, and there are zeros in these places, you can kind of put those aside for a minute. Because we're not dealing with ones right now. We're dealing with tens. So 12 tens divided by 6 tens is the same as, it's almost the same as saying 12 divided by 6, isn't it? And 12 divided by 6, we know that 6 plus 6 is 12. So 12 divided into 6 groups. Let's do that over here real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oops, let's do this. 1, 2, let's do our making our tens. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're going to divide 12 into 6 groups. So we can do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that is 2 but it was 12 tens divided by 6 tens. So that means our answer is it's just 2 total, because it's we were able to kind of ignore that and just say that. So we had 2 hours it took them driving to and from violin lessons that month. Let's do one more clock problem. Sheffy wants to ride his bike for an hour today, but he only manages to ride for 45 minutes before it starts to rain. How short of his goal is he? So let's see. So he wanted to ride his bike for a whole hour, but he only got in 45 minutes. How many minutes shy of his goal was he? We can see here that there were 5, 10, 15 minutes left. So 15 minutes shy of his goal. We could also look at that as a subtraction problem. A lot of times it's hard to think about it as if we're thinking about 1 hour minus 45 minutes. So I'll write this one out too. 1 hour. That's kind of hard because it's sort of like comparing. Whenever we're subtracting, we're comparing. We're saying this much more or that much less. So we have sort of apples to oranges here, right? 1 hour to minutes. That's kind of tricky to work with. So in order to make this manageable, we can turn 1 hour into minutes. We know that in 1 hour, there are 60 minutes minus 45 minutes. That's an easier question. Now we're comparing minutes to minutes. But that's still kind of some big numbers we're working with. So let's think about this. Let's look at our tens. We have 6 tens minus 4 tens. Well, 6 minus 2 is, 6 minus 4 is 2. I gave away the answer. 2 tens, and then we have 0 minutes minus 5 minutes. What? We can't do that. I think I'm going to have to break up my tens a little bit. Well, actually, I can keep that there. I can say 2. But in order to take 5 away from 0, I'm going to have to give a 10 over here. So instead, I'm going to give this 10. I don't want to use 0 minus something. I want to say something else. So I'm going to give a 10. So here, I'm going to turn this one into 50 tens plus 10, because 5 plus 10 is 60. And then I can come over here and say 5 tens minus 4 tens is 110. And 110, or 10 ones, in this case, 10 ones minus 5 ones is 5 ones. So 15 minutes. And that worked out with our clock too, didn't we? Now, if I wasn't sure that I'd gotten this answer right, what could I do? How could I check my work? I could actually say, I could add 15 to 45 and see if I get 60. Let's do that. So if I have 4 tens plus 1 10, that's 50. And if I have 5 ones plus 5 ones, that's 10 ones. So 5 tens, or 50 ones, plus 10 ones, or 110, is 60. So that makes me know I got my answer right. 15 minutes shy of the goal.